Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. I've got 6 Sauvignon Blancs. Actually, I've got 5.5 Sauvignon Blancs in front of me. We'll get onto the half when we get to the final wine of this sextet. It's the 3rd Sauvignon video I've done this afternoon, and to be honest, I'm getting a bit Sauvignoned out. Let's just see whether these 6 will bring my Sauvignon taste buds back to life and leave me thinking I need a beer. Well, actually, most wine tastings leave me needing a beer, but we'll get onto that at another point. Let's get on to the first wine first. So we've got, I think all these 5 are 2011. The first one I've got is 2012. It's Stonehaven Sauvignon, made by Cape Point Vineyards, and it's a 2012 vintage, as I said. I'm not sure whether it's actually from Cape Point. Cape Point is, if you know your South African geography, there's Cape Town, and then there's this bit that goes downwards. There's Constantia on one side, Cape Point is over on the other side, but that's where they're based, but it doesn't say whether this fruit is from there. Anyway, let's give it a whirl. Young, sappy, this is slightly nutty edge that I think is to do with the sulphur that they put in prior to bottling. So it may be that will disappear with a bit of swirling. It doesn't smell like it's going to be hugely aromatic, and it smells okay, but not great. It's funny, it's one of those wines that hasn't got a huge amount of flavour, but has got this dry, sappy character going all the way through. It's like a stony mineral character that's the main thing, rather than big fruit and big aromas. And as a result of that, so as I was saying, it doesn't smell of all that much, but what I wouldn't be surprised if it passes what I call the empty bottle test. In other words, you put a load of wines on the table, which one gets emptied first, if there's like 5 or 6 of you. I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few people went to have a little bit more of that. I might have some more of it later, but it depends on how good the rest of the wines are. Let's see how wine number 2 is. Fox Gordon Sauvignon Blanc 2011 from Adelaide Hills in Australia. It's like lemon and gooseberry, and maybe some of the gooseberry's gone. Some of it's gooseberry pie as well as fresh gooseberry. It smells like it's not going to be hugely in-your-face style, but as a result, as I was saying with the first one, not showy, but maybe all the more drinkable. It's okay, but it's not great. It's strange. I think about this one, which didn't smell all that promising but tasted better. Here it's almost the other way around. Here, when I come to taste it after those quite attractive aromas, it just feels a little bit jelly-like. Simple, honest, tasty, but let's move on. Wine number 3, back in South Africa now for Seven Springs Sauvignon Blanc 2011, which I think is their 2nd vintage. I've done their 2010 a couple of times in videos. This is the first time I've come across their 2011. Give it a whirl. Well, there's something here that almost reminds me of spearmint. There's the citrus edge, there's maybe a little bit touch of green apple in there, but it's the minty, herby character that's coming through as strongly as anything. Doesn't smell like it's going to be massively, overwhelmingly ripe and concentrated or anything like that, but it smells quietly confident. And that herbiness that really comes through, quite an imprint of that. Surrounding it is this. It's strange. It's a mixture of there's the citrus, but there's something a little bit more voluptuous in there. Maybe nectarine or something like that. I like it, and I'd be interested to see. One of those wines that it feels like if I watch it, I wouldn't be surprised if a few extra nuances emerge from it. Favourite so far. Maybe if I've got a problem with it, the finish maybe just lacks a little bit of precision. Splitting hairs, it's pretty good. Right, in Chile now, I'll be interested in this pair because they're both made by Errázuriz, and I think they're both the same alcohol. But first one is their single vineyard Sauvignon Blanc 2011 from Casablanca, which is where Sauvignon probably found its feet first in Chile, and so let's compare this with. Well, I'll tell you where the next one is when I get to it. well, I was mentioning like nutty sulphur character on, I can't remember which of the previous wines, was it the Stonehaven? Get some of that character coming through. Here it's full of richer wine. I mean, this is, I think these two are the highest alcohol, 13.5%. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a weighty wine, and there's like a creaminess and yeah, maybe a bit of custard apple in there, maybe a bit of pear, very ripe pear, peach, but tempered with a little bit of herby citrus restraint. I can't remember the last time I had a strawberry Mivia lolly, but there's something about that character here. So there's like a sweet strawberry edge tinged with vanilla, which are unusual tasting notes for a Sauvignon Blanc, but I get that here. At the back, there is still a little bit of that nutty sulphur going on. I'm in two minds about that one. It's I quite like its richness, but he said burping, but I almost want a little bit more subtlety in my Sauvignon. It feels like quite a big, rich, weighty wine. Nothing wrong with that, but I think if I'm wanting Sauvignon, I'm wanting a little bit more poise and presence. But another one to keep an eye on, because I've got a feeling that that's going to change quite a bit over the next couple of hours. Wine number 5, again Erasures, and again single vineyard Sauvignon Blanc, but this is their Aconcagua Costa vineyard. So we are pretty close, actually, the Casablanca and Aconcagua Costa. I mean, what Erasures did, they've got their main bit of their red wine vineyards higher up the Aconcagua Valley, where it's warmer, drier, and far more suited to red wines. And but in the last few years, they've been planting close to the coast, where it's a bit chillier, and they can make. I've done some. I think I've done some Chardonnay from there. I think I've done some. Have I done some Syrah and Pinot? I can't remember. But anyway, let's see what the Sauvignon's like. Now this feels like it's got higher cheekbones. It doesn't feel like it's going to be quite as rich and round as the one before, but for me the one before was maybe a little bit too rich and round. Here there's I get still some of that nutty sulphur character. I don't know whether that's a consequence of the winemaking style and what they're shoving in when they're bottling it, but there's a more lime and lemon herby precision here, which looks good. And that just, yeah, that has a little bit more poise and elegance about it. Still rich, so you can still feel the weight of the wine, but yeah, it doesn't feel quite as flabby around the middle. Not that the previous one was flabby around the middle, but here it feels a bit more lean and sleek. And yes, I prefer that. Not by much, but yeah, definitely prefer it. I like it. Let's find out what wine number 6 is like, because this is, I was talking about 5.5 Sauvignons. This is Doña Dominga Sauvignon Blanc Viognier from the Colchagua Valley, and 2011 vintage. Give it a whirl. Well, I'm not quite sure what the idea of the blend is. I imagine that they like the aromas of both, but they want the Viognier to give the Sauvignon a little bit of cojones. And it's the aroma of the Viognier is lifting. You get the herby, bright edges of the Sauvignon, and the Viognier is just like giving it a little bit more bike pump and pumping them up, making it a little bit more richer, peachy, apricot-y, if that's a word. And then when you come to taste it, it's just a bit flat. There's no spark of freshness there, really. It feels like it's all aroma, and yeah, it's flat. I get this jelly character, simple. Yeah, I just wonder why blend the two. It's almost like blending. Oh, I like lobster and I like beef. No, maybe not. Maybe that's a bit extreme. But if Viognier is the lobster, something that's quite big and fleshy, and then you put it with mussels. I mean, they both come from the sea, but I'd have preferred it as a straight Sauvignon or as a straight Viognier. But hey, I have to say that my opinion of Sauvignon Blanc has not been hugely increased by trying these 6 wines, but the best of them are good. The rest of them they were okay. Hey, see you soon.